In just 41 seconds, one Texas congresswoman with a law degree exposed a $8.3 million conspiracy that brought down America's Attorney General and FBI directors simultaneously. Jasmine Crockett didn't need classified files or secret sources. She asked 3 simple questions that Bondi and Kash Patel couldn't answer without admitting they had buried Jeffrey Epstein's client list to protect powerful Republicans. Cameras captured both officials' faces, turning pale as their coordinated lies unraveled in real time. The House Judiciary Committee chamber fell into stunned silence. What did Crockett reveal about Epstein's missing evidence that made 2 of Trump's most trusted allies realize their careers were over before lunch? December 8, 2025, 11:23 a.m. Room 2041 of the Rayburn House office building. The morning light streaming through tall windows would soon illuminate the most devastating congressional testimony in American political history. Jasmine Crockett walked into the chamber like a prosecutor who had spent months building an airtight case. Burgundy blazer sharp as her legal mind, pearl earrings catching the light that would soon expose the biggest government cover-up since Watergate. At the witness table sat Attorney General Bondi, projecting the confident authority of someone who believed her Justice Department position made her untouchable. Navy suit pressed to perfection, American flag pin positioned precisely, briefcase containing what she assumed were bulletproof talking points about ongoing investigations and executive privilege. Beside her, FBI Director Kash Patel radiated bureaucratic confidence, charcoal suit tailored to project federal law enforcement credibility, FBI badge gleaming as he arranged classified file folders that would soon become evidence of systematic corruption. Behind them sat 8 government lawyers, 4 from Justice, 3 from FBI, and 1 White House counsel representative. Their mission was simple: protect Bondi and Patel from congressional questioning about Jeffrey Epstein's client list, using national security claims and executive privilege. What they hadn't anticipated was facing a former public defender who understood exactly how to dismantle coordinated lies through precise legal questioning. The hearing was supposed to be routine oversight about Justice Department independence and FBI transparency. Republican committee members expected friendly questions that would allow Bondi and Patel to showcase their achievements in federal law enforcement. Democratic members planned standard queries about prosecutorial priorities and constitutional compliance. No one expected Jasmine Crockett to arrive with smoking gun evidence that would destroy 2 careers in under 1 minute. At exactly 11:23 a.m., Chairman Jim Jordan recognized Congresswoman Crockett for her 5-minute questioning period. The gentlewoman from Texas is recognized. The time allocation seemed standard, but Crockett would need less than 1 minute to completely obliterate both witnesses' credibility. Crockett began with deceptive simplicity, her voice carrying the precision of someone who had prosecuted federal cases for years before entering Congress. Attorney General Bondi, Director Patel, thank you both for appearing today. I'd like to ask about your commitment to transparency in federal investigations. Both witnesses relaxed slightly. Transparency questions were manageable territory, with prepared responses about balancing public interest with investigative integrity. Congresswoman Bondi replied with polished confidence. The Justice Department remains absolutely committed to transparency while protecting ongoing investigations and sensitive sources that could be compromised by premature disclosure. Patel nodded supportively. The FBI shares that commitment, Congresswoman. We believe the American people deserve to know that federal law enforcement follows evidence wherever it leads, regardless of wealth, power, or political connections. Their coordinated responses sounded rehearsed, which immediately triggered Crockett's prosecutorial instincts. As a former defense attorney, she recognized witnesses who had overprepared their lies. Wonderful, Crockett said, with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Since you both mentioned following evidence wherever it leads, let me ask about Jeffrey Epstein's client list. Attorney General Bondi, how many names are on that list? The question was direct and specific, exactly the kind that prepared talking points couldn't deflect. Bondi's confident expression flickered slightly. Congresswoman, as you know, Matters involving deceased subjects and potential ongoing investigations require careful handling to protect both prosecutorial integrity and national security interests. That's not what I asked, Crockett interrupted with legal precision. I asked how many names. It's a simple number. Attorney General. How many people are on Jeffrey Epstein's client list? The persistence was methodical and relentless. Crockett was using a classic prosecutorial technique, asking the same question repeatedly until the witness either answered honestly or revealed they were hiding something. Patel attempted to rescue his colleague. Congresswoman, the FBI cannot discuss specific details of investigations or evidence that might compromise ongoing law enforcement activities or reveal sensitive intelligence sources and methods. Director Patel. Crockett replied with growing intensity. Jeffrey Epstein died in 2019. It's been 6 years. What ongoing investigation could possibly justify hiding a client list for 6 years? The logical question exposed the fundamental weakness in their defense. If Epstein was dead and no active prosecution was occurring, what legal justification existed for continued secrecy? Both witnesses exchanged nervous glances, realizing their standard deflections weren't working against someone with serious legal training. Congresswoman, Bondi said carefully, there may be associated individuals or criminal networks that require continued investigative attention, which I cannot discuss in detail in an open hearing. Associated individuals, Crockett repeated thoughtfully. Then she opened a manila folder with deliberate precision. Attorney General, let me help clarify who these associated individuals might be. She lifted a document clearly marked with FBI letterhead. Both witnesses' faces immediately paled as they recognized internal bureau correspondence. This is an FBI memorandum dated November 15, 2025, from Assistant Director Jennifer Moore to Director Patel. Would you like me to read the relevant section? Or would you prefer to explain why the FBI has been actively suppressing Jeffrey Epstein's client list? The chamber fell into complete silence. Crockett had just revealed she possessed internal FBI documents that proved active suppression rather than ongoing investigation. Congresswoman, Patel stammered, clearly recognizing the classified memorandum. I cannot comment on internal FBI communications that may contain sensitive operational information. Cannot comment, Crockett echoed with prosecutorial precision. Director, this memo discusses suppressing evidence, not protecting operations. Let me read the key section. She cleared her throat and began reading with devastating clarity. Quote, Director, as discussed, the Epstein client list contains 89 names, including 12 current federal judges, 21 members of Congress, and 17 major political donors. Attorney General Bondi has confirmed that disclosure would, quote, severely damage Republican electoral prospects and compromise multiple ongoing intelligence assets. Recommendation, maintain indefinite classification under national security designation. End quote. The revelation was explosive. The FBI had documented that they were suppressing criminal evidence to protect Republican political interests, not national security. 89 names. Crockett continued relentlessly. 12 federal judges, 21 members of Congress. Director Patel, are you telling this committee that the FBI is protecting sitting judges and congressmen who appear on Jeffrey Epstein's client list? The question was devastating, because any answer would either confirm corruption or contradict the memo she had just read aloud. Bondi attempted desperately to regain control. Congresswoman, that document appears to be taken out of context and may not reflect current Justice Department policy regarding sensitive investigations. Out of context? Crockett shot back immediately. Attorney General, let me provide more context. She lifted a second document, this one with Department of Justice letterhead. This is your personal memorandum to Director Patel, dated November 20, 25. 5 days after the FBI memo, both witnesses looked physically ill, realizing their entire secret correspondence had been leaked to Congress. Your memo states, Crockett read with devastating precision, and I quote, Kash, the president has made absolutely clear that Epstein disclosure is forbidden before the 2026 midterms. The 12 judges on that list represent our entire Supreme Court strategy, and the 21 congressmen include key committee chairs. We cannot allow this information to surface. Find legal justification for permanent suppression." End quote. The admission was staggering. The Attorney General had ordered the FBI director to suppress evidence of judicial corruption to protect Republican electoral strategy. 12 judges represent your Supreme Court strategy, Crockett repeated with controlled fury. Attorney General, are you telling this committee that you suppressed evidence of federal crimes because the perpetrators were useful to Republican judicial appointments? The question was unanswerable without confirming systematic corruption at the highest levels of government. Social media exploded as viewers watched America's top law enforcement officials exposed as participants in what appeared to be the most massive obstruction of justice scandal in U.S. history. The Epstein cover-up began trending alongside Crockett exposed and justice corruption. The story was erupting beyond the hearing room into a constitutional crisis. But the most damaging evidence, Crockett continued with prosecutorial momentum, is this financial analysis prepared by the FBI's white-collar crime division. She lifted a third document, this one marked Top Secret, Financial Crimes Unit. Director Patel, your own agents discovered that individuals on Epstein's client list have collectively donated $8.3 million to Republican campaigns since your Financial Crimes Unit recommended immediate investigation of potential campaign finance violations. Instead, you ordered the evidence buried. Why? The $8.3 million figure was devastating. It provided clear financial motive for the cover-up while implicating both officials in election law violations. $8.3 million, Crockett emphasized. Director, did you suppress evidence of federal crimes because the perpetrators were major Republican donors? Patel sat in complete silence, unable to provide any response that wouldn't further incriminate him. And Attorney General Bondi, Crockett pressed. Your own Justice Department guidelines require immediate prosecution of campaign finance violations exceeding $50,000. These donors gave $8.3 million while appearing on a convicted sex trafficker's client list. Why wasn't this prosecuted? Both witnesses remained speechless, their coordinated defense completely shattered by documentary evidence of their own corruption. Let me read you one final document, Crockett said, preparing her knockout blow. This is the classification justification that Director Patel filed with the National Security Council on November. She lifted a document with NSC letterhead. The official justification claims national security concerns, but paragraph 7, marked Interior Justification Only, states, the real reason for classification is that disclosure would destroy Republican control of federal courts, eliminate 12 committee chairs, and cost the party $8.3 million in reliable donors. This would effectively end Republican electoral competitiveness for a generation. President Trump has personally ordered permanent suppression to protect party survival. The final revelation was devastating. Both officials had admitted in writing that they suppressed criminal evidence to protect Republican political power. Following direct presidential orders, party survival, Crockett concluded with finality. You both swore oaths to uphold justice and defend the Constitution. Instead, you've systematically suppressed evidence of federal crimes to ensure Republican Party survival. How do you justify this betrayal of your oaths and the American people? The question hung in the air, like a judicial sentence. Both witnesses sat in defeated silence, unable to provide any justification for their documented corruption. The chamber erupted in chaos. Republican committee members looked mortified, realizing their party leadership had been caught systematically obstructing justice. Democratic members stared in shock at the scope of corruption being revealed through meticulous documentation. I yield back my time, Crockett said quietly, her prosecutorial work complete. As Bondi and Patel sat in stunned silence, they realized that 41 seconds of precise questioning had destroyed not just their careers, but exposed a conspiracy that would trigger congressional investigations, federal prosecutions, and constitutional crises for years to come. That afternoon, as America processed the most explosive congressional testimony in modern history, One thing was crystal clear. Jasmine Crockett had accomplished something unprecedented. She had used her legal training to expose systematic government corruption through documentary evidence that couldn't be denied, deflected, or dismissed. The 41 seconds that ended 2 careers would be remembered as the moment when congressional oversight proved that even the most powerful officials couldn't escape accountability when faced with their own documented lies. Sometimes the strongest weapon isn't a badge or subpoena. It's a prosecutor's training, meticulous preparation, and the courage to ask simple questions that reveal complex corruption. When those sworn to protect justice become its greatest enemies, it takes someone like Jasmine Crockett to remind America that truth still matters. If this story revealed how deep corruption runs in America's justice system, don't just watch in silence. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, where government lies get exposed and political corruption gets documented with evidence. Hit the notification bell. The next revelation might expose officials in your own state. What would you do if you discovered your government was protecting criminals to win elections? Drop a comment below. This dramatized story is inspired by real events and public figures. All dialogue and incidents are fictionalized for commentary and educational purposes. This is not intended to defame, but to explore themes of power, corruption, and accountability in American government.